Well, hello again, wise guys and ghouls, and welcome to another fright-filled edition of the Wise Eats podcast. It's Halloween, and you know we're celebrating in style. I know there's been some uncertainty around the holiday this year due to the pandemic, but I'm pleased to report that Halloween is still a go for 2020. It's estimated that 80% of the general public still plans to celebrate this year. And it might look a little different with more home celebrations or virtual parties, or reverse trick-or-treating and trunk-or-treating, but it's definitely still a go.
They were trying to tell kids they can't go to Halloween. They can't go trick-or-treating. Yeah. And then everybody freaked out and they're like, okay, we changed our mind.
It's crazy to think that some people were just trying to cancel Halloween. That's like trying to cancel America. You can't cancel America, you can't cancel freedom, and you can't cancel fun.
Don't worry, kids, we'll still have Halloween fun.
So before we all take part in all the terrifying festivities, let's take a step back, as we like to do here, and go over a few fun facts about why we celebrate Halloween in the first place.
See, this reminds me of a spooky Halloween story.
The celebration of Halloween started in the United States as an autumn harvest festival. During the early Halloween festivities, some Americans celebrated Halloween with corn popping parties, taffy pulls, and hay rides.
According to Celtic legend, one child from each tribe was chosen to be inflicted with the curse of thorn.
Trick-or-treating wasn't popularized in America until the 1950s by the baby boomer generation. Its roots stem from 9th or 10th century Gaelic Ireland and other Celtic regions where disguises were worn to hide from spirits passing from one world to the next on All Hallows Eve.
And they dressed up in costumes, hoping to ward off the evil spirits, especially the boogeyman.
The popularity of Halloween grew with the large influx of Irish immigrants into the United States in the 19th century and eventually became associated with ghosts, goblins, and witches. And of course, it grew into the fun, playful holiday that we all love today.
Oh, you want to play psycho killer? Can I be the helpless victim?
Now, one of the best parts about Halloween is dressing up in cool costumes. While we may have to flaunt our costumes on social media this year instead of in person, costumes are still a thing during COVID. So I wanted to run down some of the most popular options for 2020 according to Spirit Halloween.
I'll get it. Don't worry about a thing. Trick or treat. Oh my God!
Obviously, COVID is the hottest topic in the world right now, so one of the new costumes this year that's flying off the shelves is the Plague Doctor. It's thought that these beaked masks were worn by physicians throughout the 14th century to prevent the spread of the plague.
No pain, no gain.
Another new costume this year is the life-size White Claw costume, which, of course, I quit drinking earlier this year, so I missed the cut on the White Claws. I heard they're pretty delicious, and I do love where the market's going, where they're listing the ingredients on the can. Most alcoholic beverages, you won't see any ingredients on there, so they could be putting anything in those drinks and flavoring them and whatever. So I like where they're going with that. So shout out to the White Claw. Another popular costume this year is the Mullet Man, inspired by Tiger King Joe Exotic.
Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me that it didn't happen.
Now, I don't know anything about the game Fortnite, but Fish Stick and Drift are two very popular costumes this year also.
We sell this costume every 5 and dime in the state.
Of course, we can't forget about the lovable inflatables. We got the toilet bowl and SpongeBob. Now, I won't be dressing up as any kind of toilet this year, but I have been known to walk around and travel with my squatty potty. Lastly, and of course my favorite, are the horror villains. They're a staple, and they're always high sellers. Freddy, Jason, Scary Clowns, and Chucky are usually the most popular. And as a kid, I loved going to the haunted mask stores. The masks were always super expensive, but my dad would buy me one here and there, bought me a Michael Myers. And so I loved dressing up for Halloween. I would always go out as Michael Myers, Leatherface, Freddy, and Jason. Lastly, since most normal people do plan to celebrate Halloween this year, I thought I'd share a few tips on how you can enjoy the holiday, but also still make some wise choices. So keep these tips in mind, and you'll be well on your way to a guilt-free holiday that gets you closer to your fitness goals.
It's not wise to play Halloween pranks on me.
Tip number 1 is to choose homemade treats whenever possible. I highly recommend the Eats Coco Cups. They take the place of Snickers, Reese's, Mounds. You can add coconut, you can add peanuts, you can add peanut butter, whatever you want. We love raisins, frozen banana. You can make them any which way you want and take the place of any of your favorite candies. And you might want to avoid candy. We already know why. Episode 30, check it out. They're the perfect chocolate fix, but you could also Google some other recipes that have whole real food ingredients like honey, maple syrup, stevia, natural fruit juice, or other organic ingredients. So when I'm craving something sweet, I turn to wise-eats.com/recipes, and I'll try something like the chocolate blast shake, the berry vanilla shake, the peanut butter power bombs, the Eats Coco Cups, the pile driver protein pudding, or the Nutter Butter. There's a lot more desserts and snacks available on the website, so definitely check it out. I'll link to all the recipes at wise-eats.com/episode 31. But it doesn't have to be some elaborate concoction. It can be something as simple as some frozen banana with almond butter, an apple, some other fresh fruit, dates, or I also like Greek yogurt and blueberries.
You think that's funny?
Hey, no, man. No, hey, just a little Halloween prank, okay?
Tip number 2 is try to find organic, limited ingredient candies as much as possible. I've been over this before, and I know these are few and far in between in the candy aisle, but you really want to avoid candy with low quality ingredients and a ton of added sugar. So if you're looking for any mainstream candies, finding healthy options is going to be next to impossible. So personally, I avoid the candy aisle entirely, but when I do buy candy for Joe, I'll make sure it's like a chocolate bar with at least 70% cacao or higher.
You make me so sick. Your entire havoc-inducing, thieving, whoring generation disgusts me.
Tip number 3 is to stay extra hydrated. Lots of water, green tea, and coffee. But don't go too far overboard on the caffeine. I like to cut it off at noon. I'll switch to a decaf. And ice water and tea in between meals is a great hunger suppressant because hunger is very psychological. If you're dehydrated, those hunger cravings are going to hit you like a Mack truck. Tip number 4 is if you're going to have some junk food, decide what it is and how much ahead of time. Prioritize your favorite things and skip on all the rest. If I know I'm going to splurge on something and have candy or whatever, which I'm not going to, I'd be picking my favorites like Reese's or Kit Kat and just skipping all the junk like those black and orange candies things. Those are the worst. Tip number 5 is to lift some weights before you treat yourself. A good weight training session can help your body put those extra calories to good use.
Well, I gotta get back to my workout, kiddies.
Tip number 6 is portion control. Have a few pieces of candy, not the whole bag like Fat Wes used to do. Treat yourself in moderation and do it thoughtfully. Go in with a plan and with a goal in mind. If you go too far overboard, you're going to wake up feeling like you've fallen into the deep, dark depths. Tip number 7 is to stay active. Go for walks, play active games, and keep your body moving. My wife and I, we love going for walks, especially around this time. We walk around all the houses and see all the Halloween decorations. It's the perfect way to celebrate and burn some extra calories. Lastly, and most importantly, above the candy, above the safety regulations, no matter what you do for Halloween this year, don't fall asleep. So that's a wrap for the Halloween edition of Wise Eats. I hope everyone has a fantastic holiday. You can find all the show notes, pictures, YouTube video, and more over at wise-eats.com/episode 31. Before I go, I want to get everyone out there in the spirit of Halloween with a poem I found over at familyfriendpoems.com. On one mystic, magic night, jack-o'-lanterns glowing bright, Kids with bags of candy sweet roam door to door and street to street, all dressed up for trick or treat. Wizards with wands, pirates with hooks, monsters and clowns with spooky looks, kings and queens with capes and crowns, a princess in her royal gown, witches with warts and fairies with wings, movie stars and sparkling rings, vampires with fangs that bite, ghosts that boo, all dressed in white. Imaginations taking flight on that one mystic magic night. Oh, the fun of Halloween, be young or old or in between. Have a frightful holiday, friends and freaks, and as always, make terrifying choices. Well, hello again, wise guys, and I'm your host, former fat guy Wes Wise. Now we can skip that.
Halloween is banned.
It's estimated that 80% of the
People ask for, is Jason stronger than Freddy?
What's in a ghost's nose? Boogers.
Okay, you can take that off now. Halloween is over.
And another tip is to drink out of your favorite mug, so you'll be more, oh my God.
You are a madman.
Why don't mummies have friends? Because they're too wrapped up in themselves. That's a wrap for this Halloween edition of Wise Eats. That's a wrap. So that's a wrap for this uncertainty around the Halloween season this year due to the What do you get when you cross a vampire and a snowman? Frostbite. I do like where they're going with the listing of the drink out of something that you drink out of a cup that you like a lot. That'll help, I think. Why did the ghost go into the bar? For the booze.
It's a scream, baby!